Hi, everybody. This episode of Healthy, Happy, Wise, Wealthy, I have with us Dave Lewis or David Lewis. Are you going by Dave?
You know what? My friends and family, people I've known for a long time, call me David, and so Dave's kind of my radio, TV, broadcasting, media name. So I'm fine with either. We're friends, we're family now, so you can go with
That's
David.
right. I can go with David. I've been calling you David, so there you go. So I know David from work. We both work at a local television station, KOLO-TV in Reno. We both got there about the same time. And as I was thinking through the kind of the what I like to do on this podcast is talk about life pivots and life changes a lot. That's part of it is and also just living healthy and making decisions that are healthy moving forward with health, wealth, wisdom, all those kind of things, but especially when life doesn't necessarily go as planned. And right now, David and I found out, are both giving talks in August about that, about life pivots and transitions. So I'm doing one on August 6th with the Creators Conference mini monthly mini. It's a brand new thing in Reno for creatives, and I'm calling it the painful pivot
I
to the
like
powerful
that.
pivot.
I like that. That's a great
It's
title.
it's thanks.
Whoa.
Well, we came up with that on the fly. I tell you what, I just sat down, met her for wine. We didn't do coffee, we did wine, and all of a sudden we had a whole conference set up. And
So the title was wine inspired?
the title probably was wine inspired. Yay me, right? Probably shouldn't say that. Well, and then David is giving a talk at the National Automobile Museum. Do you think the Automobile Museum here in Reno is national? What do you think? Do you think they just add that on for fun?
Hey, I'm
Who
speaking
knows?
there. I'm not going to let you add on the title of that thing. Come
It's
on.
such a cool place.
It's
I was
awesome.
looking at that. I'm like, is this the only
It's
automobile
it's the
museum in the
best one in
US?
the nation, is what it is.
I think it is very, very cool. No, I think it's super, super cool. And they do such a good job of doing events. So yours is called, okay, you tell me the name. It's never too late to start over. You're enough. It's never too late to start over. Is that right?
Yeah, mine was not wine inspired, but
Well,
uh,
shoot.
yeah, maybe I could have done better, with
If
a
you would have
glass
had a
of
glass of
red.
wine. Maybe they'll do that. I know I've been to events there with wine, so you never know. You could let them know about that. So that's on August 12th at 6.
That's correct.
So both at 6. So here we go. We'll see how we do. Are you nervous to give your speech?
I saw how they described what that talk is going to be about. I said, "Man, I better be good." That they made it sound like it's must see appointment speak. So I got to
Yeah.
be there, and I got to bring my A game. So I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna let you talk now. I want you to just kind of tell us about what got you to be a morning anchor in Reno, Nevada, and what led up to it. So you didn't start in news on television.
Now, you want to go from the beginning?
Oh, go from the beginning. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So I was a top 40 disc jockey, my
Yeah,
first
you were.
job. And we're going back a little bit. I won't say the year, but Madonna's Like a Virgin was a new album when that started. And I was making $5.50 an hour to work in the middle of the night playing the hits and using that DJ voice, talking like this. I'm puking like a DJ would at that time. And
Yeah.
so I followed that path. Went to full time there in San Bernardino, California. Then that journey went from there to San Diego, San Jose, San Francisco, and the Bay Area um, for a dozen years in top 40. And then the last station I was at switched formats, which was pretty common. And so when they do that, everybody gets fired, and you got to figure out what you're going to do with your life. So I looked for DJ jobs. There weren't any available in the Bay Area, and I thought about a dream I'd always had about being a sports announcer, doing play-by-play, and put
That was a
together
big
a
that was a big pivot, right? How long
massive.
ago was that?
That's a massive pivot. Maybe I changed the title of mine. And in basketball, you pivot as well. With the ball. But
Right.
that was a career pivot, and I put together a deal, broadcasting deal at Santa Clara. So I found the radio station, sold the time, sold myself and was able to get myself on as a play-by-play announcer at the age of 32. I'd never done it before, doing college basketball. So I went from playing rap music to doing March Madness in the span of 7 months, which
Oh, that's huge. That's a big career move.
pretty cool. And then simultaneously, I got a job in radio in San Francisco doing news. And after a year of doing part time, I got named the full time evening sports anchor in KCBS in San Francisco. So that began a run of 21 years where I became a journalist at that point. And so
And this is still radio.
it's still radio.
Yeah.
It starts to evolve into television because KPIX Channel 5 is the CBS affiliate. So in 2010, I was named a part time sports anchor on the television station. I
Okay.
kept making demos over a few months, and they finally gave me a shot to do that. And then during that time, I'd been doing some television play by play in sports. So I worked for Comcast doing the game of the week from Fresno to Chico. That evolved into college basketball at St. Mary's on television. I did arena football for the SaberCats, San Jose SaberCats. That eventually led me to Sacramento State doing football on television. And, that had been my path, also an actor during that time. But I thought I
Yeah.
was going to be doing play by play. That would be the thing I would do most. I was still doing radio up until 2022. And then my job got reduced to part time. I was doing news because COVID knocked out a lot of sports. So I got moved to news. And
Yeah.
that was a big change. There was a pivot that I never thought that I would like, but it helped me because I became a news person because there were no events during COVID. So they found something for me to do. And I worked nationally for iHeartRadio, did sports in Boston remotely, New York City, Washington. And so I became a news person at that time until I decided I wasn't going to work part time because play by play and acting in movies, a lot of that was on weekends. And so I bet on myself. I go, I'm not doing that part time job. And it took a while, but I saw this job in Reno on Indeed.com. Shout out to Indeed. And I was not looking to do full time television at that point, especially doing full time news. But I just, as a lark, just filled out the application. My best friend was here and was just split up with my wife. So that'll be another thing we circle back to.
Yeah.
And I needed to be very sure I was running to something rather than from something.
Yeah.
And I really connected with the news director really well. And then I became really interested. I go, I think I might like this. And
Yeah.
then I had a Zoom call with the co-anchor. I was watching her online. I really liked her, this woman named Rebecca Kitchen, and I thought she was really good. And so
Yeah. She's
he
very
said,
good.
he goes, I don't care if, he says, it's okay that I like you, but you guys have to like each other. It's not going to work. So we did a Zoom call for 45 minutes, hour. And I don't recall talking about the show all that much, but we talked a lot about life and getting to know each other. And basically, she disconnected that call and gave me a thumbs up. And then we negotiated over the course of another month or two, and it just felt right. Scary though, very scary. Which I know will be a part of this
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Taking a big lump in my throat, and then packing my
And then going for it.
yeah, packing my car and starting a new life up here. So the people have been incredible. The audience has embraced our show. My staff has been so helpful. Not just the staff that works with our show, but people in our building and making friends in the community. It's been a real blessing. So that's a year and a
That's,
half ago I came.
yeah. And I think we arrived in Reno right about the same time. So it's doesn't, and running to something and not away from something. That's you've said that a couple times when we've talked, and I think that's such a probably a real important part of transition. Is sometimes when you have to make a transition, you really are running away from something, or you're pushed out of something, or you don't have a choice. And instead of like just sitting there and feeling like this is terrifying and circling, spiraling down about how you don't have a choice. There is that, there's that mental pivot, don't you think?
Oh, no doubt about it. And that was the determining factor before I said yes, was making sure I was clear on that. Because if you're running from something, your demons eventually catch you. Your
Mm.
fears, your insecurities, the stuff you never dealt with, all that. And it'll eventually grab you from behind. But I was pretty clear that this was the right thing, the right place, and I was running to something that was going to eventually be special. And it's taken a while. I mean, I came here, we were distant number two in the market. Now we're number one in mornings, which
Yeah.
is, I think I can say freaking on your podcast, right? Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't cross the line,
I
did I?
will
Freaking.
allow
Yes, yes.
But no, that's so great. And I've seen your segments, so they're so, they're some of them are so fun, and I love that you're bringing some really fun stuff into television because and you're a creative, in the acting, but also you've chosen careers that are pseudo creative. They kind of have that mix of business and creative, which is I kind of have done that also.
Yeah. It,
And
it, I think it works because Rebecca's a real journalist. She grew up in the field, fourth generation Nevadan, and she wants to know about how the fire started and get a mugshot of the suspect and all that down and dirty journalism stuff. Reporter, she's a reporter at heart, and I come in from more of a sports and entertainment, background. So I like human interest stories. I want to find out what makes people different, but also what makes people just like us that that people can relate to. So
yeah.
the features I do are a lot of human interest things, and I think it gives our show a balance that gives some nuance that's different.
What's been some of the most fun interviews you've done since you've been here?
Are you talking about the one I had the crush on the most, or
Yeah, start with that one. I don't even know which one it is because there's like I feel like
I don't even know why I volunteered that one, man.
let's do
Hey,
that one.
I'll come back to that one. All right. So
You're gonna come back to that one.
one I
Okay.
really liked was this gentleman. He's 70 years old and he lives out in this Verdi area, Somerset, and he's riding from Canada to Mexico on a bike to over 2,000 miles for a friend of his that passed away from multiple sclerosis. And he's not a Tour de France guy. He's just a regular, dude like you and me riding a bike. So he hired a trainer to learn how to do it. And so he's on this journey now. I sent him a couple of texts. I go, "How you doing?" And he said, "I fell. He fell in Seattle." So he showed me, pictures of his body all scraped up and wondering if he continue. Now this was a couple of days ago. I said, I need to find out if he's still doing it. But I did tell him, I go, "Hey, whether you do it, whether you finish or not, I'm not about like only the guy that finished in first place. To me, like getting in the race for a lot of us, like this conversation on life is the victory. So,
Yeah.
if you get yourself to San Luis Obispo and you can't do it anymore, you got to come back to Reno. Your health, he's dizzy, he's not sleeping well. I go, I'm going to have you on the show no matter what. You're going to sit next to me on that set to talk about this experience. So I love, and why people do things, what makes them similar to us, what makes them different. I think that's, the human condition is something that drives me.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, oh, comedian. And I'll circle back to the crush, but
Okay.
the comedian, the comedian Justin Ruppel, who was on America's Got Talent, and he shared his dream about headlining in Vegas. He's been doing this for now like 18, 19 years, but he talks about how vivid it is, like what kind of car he's driving and what he's eating, this double animal style from In and Out. And he's got a donut in one hand. He's driving down the strip and he's Caesars and he sees his name up, on the marquee tonight, Justin Ruppel, and he shares. So I'm picking up these life lessons on visualization, and so he's become a friend, away from the show. Hey, I want to do good TV, but I want to learn something I could gravitate and take into my own life. And we're sharing our own life lessons. He's become a friend, over the course of a couple TV visits.
Yeah, I mean, the power of visualization, I think, is something I definitely don't use enough for sure.
Yeah. Instead of just having this kind of goal, more money, more this, but not
Mhm.
the steps you have to take and what it feels like, and there's some of that Tony Robbins stuff, to really visualize
Yeah,
and see it,
yeah.
to make it true. So now that got myself thinking about, hey, my own goals. What about, what do I want to do, and really making it real, in my head.
And I've heard that from a lot of different, I don't know, thought leaders about how the visualization, like, it's not just seeing it, it's feeling the emotions of it and kind of feeling what it's going to be like to do that. So I just wanted, I don't know, I got to do that more. I'm putting a
Yeah,
check in my checkbox right there to
yeah.
go,
It was
Mary, to
something that,
do that more.
yeah, it was something when he's like, oh my gosh, that's right. A little mental note to self, and we swapped some texts like, hey, let's get on the phone and talk about life. I invited him to my talk that I'm doing next month. He goes, hey, if I can go, I'll fly up and go. So, and he lives in LA, so it would mean a lot to have him there.
Yeah, well, I'm coming.
Thank
So.
you, thank you.
Yeah, that's going to be so exciting. The day I was talking to you, and you said that you're making notes on your talk every night, to kind of get it together. I was like, oh, I haven't even started that.
Yeah.
And then that night I had a nightmare that I was just like on a TED Talk stage, just winging it,
Oh yeah, that's
like
the.
just back and forth, getting some talk from the audience. I'm like, so yeah, I'm gonna
I
have to buckle down.
I think that was, and I'm still a play-by-play announcer at heart, and I think I'm good at it. But the fear of sucking and not being prepared is like, it drives me. So I'll have like a million notes, and 90%, 80% of it I never use, but it's always there for me, just in case there's that dead time, or a guy twists his ankle, and I know, that he was third team All American, whatever it is, to have that stuff ready to go. So for that talk, I'm going to be prepared with video. I'm not going to go up there with notes, but I'm going to have this mind map worked out. How I go from one thing to another. Um, they're going to have video to play for me at certain points to keep it interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know if, heck, I'd bore myself talking for 40, 45 minutes. Um,
without video.
or no, I know my family members. I don't know how much they can take of me talking. So anyway, I'm going to have it compelling. There'll be some music. I'm going to dance in there too. I've been working on. I'll
Nice.
tell just you and your audience. No one else knows, to be but between you and me.
Okay.
Is Saturday Night Fever. John Travolta. He takes the floor. Tony Manero takes the floor. You should be dancing with the Bee Gees. I'm
Okay.
going to have that routine down to the T. To the T.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
That'll be how I come on stage.
Well, that's impressive because you also just had hip surgery.
Yeah.
So,
That's a part of it. Like, hey, what can you do? It's never too late to learn the Tony Manero 3 months after hip surgery.
yeah, 3 months after hip surgery. So, yeah, going back to kind of just, well, let me ask you this first before we go back to some of all the transition stuff. TV or radio? What do you feel like are the differences in those two fields?
Well, radio is much more spontaneous. With the television show, there's so many moving pieces, and there's elements of it where we can be spontaneous, but it all revolves around having a director know what we're doing, having the video coming up at the right time, having producers that are wondering, what's going to be next. So it's kind of structured, but not truly improv. Um, Creating a
Hmm.
basketball game, I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know how every play is going to happen. I don't know how any play is going to happen. So it's living in the moment all the time, and that is so invigorating. Um, Doing radio scripts and news is the same as television. Although I don't have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and put on makeup. Other than
Yeah.
that,
Oh, yeah.
I could wear this and be good. And quite often I would wear worse than this. But the structure of it, news and television, I rely on more people on TV. I just need to
Yeah.
turn on the microphone and radio. And if I suck, it's because I suck. It's not because I can blame some intern or a producer or a director that played the wrong thing. So it's all on you. And I like that. I like having that responsibility. I embrace it. And if it's good, it's because you were good. If it sucks, it's because you suck. And
Yeah.
in TV, it doesn't happen without everybody. So
No, it's, yeah.
I mean, I've got a great co-anchor, And I think the best weather person in the market. Lindsay's unbelievable. We've got three producers, one editor, a director, two reporters, and a camera person. And if even one of those people come up short, everybody can see it on TV. And so
Yeah.
we all got to be in, we all got to be locked in, we all got to be doing it. So I make sure before those producers leave every day, I thank them. And I said, you ever leave without me thanking you, you come back and they do a U-turn and say, man, you didn't show me any gratitude today, dog. And because it's critical, it's critical. So I enjoy TV because I didn't think I could do it, especially later in life like this, and all the things that uh, this negative self-talk that we'll get into. You're too old to do it. You're not good looking
Hmm.
enough. Not experienced enough. All these things that we talk ourselves out of even trying, and
Right.
just getting over it and believing. I had a news director that believed I could do it. I had people in San Francisco that believed I can do it without experience, despite that little voice on your shoulder. Just slap that
Hmm.
thing around, and
Right.
knowing what it is and what it isn't. And that's
Yeah.
someone else's wounding, it's someone else's pain, it's someone else's bullying, whatever it is. And then once you're able to understand what it is and what it isn't, then you can hopefully make some choices that empower you and maybe empower others.
Right. And I would, in some ways, I do the sales and commercial side. I've never talked about that on the podcast. And Colo gave me a chance too to get out here to live near my son, and this is where I wanted to live. And I combined that whole on-camera stuff with sales stuff, and I think at some point you someone gives you a chance to.
Yeah.
It's a new industry for me in a way. I've done sales and I've done media, but putting it together was a new thing. So it's nice when someone just gives you a shot, and there's good people there.
In life, I hear about the self-made this, self-made that. Bottom line is like someone's got to say yes. Someone's got to
Right.
say yes to your idea, your business idea, your job application, your uh, asking for a date, whatever it is. Someone's got to say yes, and
Right.
without that, it doesn't happen. So I'm grateful for all the people along the way that said yes, including that program director that saw something in me doing radio at $5.50 an hour. Because without that, the chain reaction of everything else doesn't happen.
Hmm. Then the next thing and the next thing, yeah. Have you noticed a difference in fans from radio to TV? I imagine you get noticed more on TV, of course, because it's video.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in radio, you get noticed from making public appearances. So in the 90s, I did a lot of high schools and nightclubs and car dealers and things like that. So those people recognize you and they're coming out to see you. So they haven't recognized you, they only recognize your voice and then they get to meet you in person.
Yeah,
Here, everywhere we go, Rebecca and I will see somebody that, hey, aren't you, give you a little
yeah,
side look, whether it's the gym or whatever. And it's, you hope they like you, but,
right.
but you do get noticed because it's a visual medium.
Yeah. And then sometimes, because I've witnessed this, when we went to that one concert with Amy, the Amy Grant concert that you had tickets to, and that you interviewed her, may or may not be your crush. I'm just gonna
Uh,
say.
I'll come back to
No,
that.
but not gonna admit anything. Um, but there was a lady who stopped you and said, this is the best show, and I watch you all the time, and you're the best in the market, and I love you the most. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but yeah,
I think
she
that's
was
an exact quote.
she was a fan. That's not an exact quote.
No, I think that was an exact quote.
Oh, is that? That's actually an exact quote. An exact quote is what that is.
No,
But
but the community here is just great. I mean,
it is, yeah, for sure.
a couple of months into our show, I discovered the very first show, which was January 14 of 2024. And I was completely new to this. And I remember watching, I go, oh my God, I suck. And so I, I went to our news director and I said, hey, thank you for sticking. It's now 6 months into it. I go, hey, I want to thank you because I saw that first show and I wasn't very good. And he says, hey, dude, it's just about putting in the reps. I've seen what you can do in other medium as just, learning the skills of this thing and the
Yeah,
repetitions, just like learning how to play guitar or any skill, surfing, golf. It's just practicing and getting better with the reps. So I used to be a
Mhm.
snob thinking about, hey, you can either do it or you can't do it. Whether it's actor or TV, you're talented or you're not talented. But it is about putting in the reps. And
Yeah.
so now we got a year and a half of reps under our belts together. We're still learning. Um, we're still a work in progress with, when someone takes over this part of the show, or making eye contact in certain moments when we're off camera, which no one can see. Um, it's a work in progress constantly, and we're always trying to get better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and doing a great job, but
Thank you.
there is something I think about, life teaches you how to stay in humility, right? You
Oh
said
gosh,
something.
no,
Yeah.
life keeps you humble.
Yeah.
When you think you got it going on, something will hit you when you least expect it. So
Yeah.
I thought before I came up here, I had it made because I had done three films that had won awards. One of them I co-wrote, San Francisco Film Festival, and was
Oh,
doing
amazing.
multiple play-by-play gigs and volunteering and just feeling like, hey, I'm a good person. And then as October of 2018, and I don't remember the exact day, but it was in that month. And I told my wife, hey, I don't know where all this is coming because it's so many different directions, but they were all good. Everything was good. And I said, I think I'm becoming the man I want to be. Yeah, this will be a great story to tell on Mary Meyer's podcast someday. And then a month later, she said she wanted a divorce. So, you know,
Oh, goodness.
that, and I thought, man, I thought I described someone that was pretty cool right there. But, the bottom line is there's never a breakup that's 100% zero. It doesn't have to be 50-50, but it doesn't have to be 100-0. And, bottom line, all that cool stuff, I was doing by myself. So I wasn't tuned into the relationship that should have mattered the most. I'm an empty nesting parent at that point, so I'm doing stuff that just gets me off, and I love doing it. I'm trying to get good at everything, but as parents that pour all their energy into their kids, you when they're gone, you either have an opportunity to get a lot closer. The kids are gone, or you splinter, and that's the direction we headed, and
Yeah.
the boys have to accept those consequences for those things. So I thought I was doing some great stuff, but I was doing it on my own.
Mm, that's tough.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the tough stuff because you opened the door to that. So, and I have also divorced. My divorce was longer ago. I lose track. I think maybe 9 years ago. But there's nothing after. I think we were together over. Well, we were together over 2 decades, maybe 23, 24 years. So I
Oh,
know you were married for,
shoot, Mary. Our
right?
divorce was final 4 days shy of our 30th anniversary.
Yeah. So that's painful.
That's painful. Like you couldn't get to the 30. Like, there's no way. Hey, you're close to the 30. No, sorry.
Can't we just
Trish
do
story.
this?
Not that it'd have
Right.
been awesome at 30, but it just sucks more that it didn't get to 30.
Yeah. And it's an interesting thing. I don't even know what kind of words there is to put into that you made it for decades and then you're like, this is not our experiences I think were way different,
Yeah.
um but so like just let's focus like because we don't want to get too negative about talking about the ins and
It,
outs of a
it's
divorce,
not it's
but
not
you don't
negative.
expect it.
It's not. I mean, she's someone like I'll tell her I told the story because it's all good. But we talk about 4 times a week. Uh, we she's become a better friend. Now you kind of see things a little bit differently. But she's someone that when I had my hip surgery, the first call I had was from her.
Oh,
You know,
that's
I'm going to
good.
have some success on the show. First call I get is from her.
Well, good.
So, she's a great friend and a huge advocate. I saw her this last weekend at a party down in Southern California, hanging out. So, some people kind of roll their eyes, like, "What are you doing?" But we spent all those years together, and
Yeah.
we're grandparents. So, let's make it a good thing.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you did to kind of get through? divorce that you feel like are healthy? Like we probably do some things that maybe aren't healthy
Yeah.
too, which is part of the deal. But
Well, the health part of it is huge. And I got into exercise when I was 19 years old, kind of an escape. I mean, you transform your body and you feel good and all those things. And you try to look good on a tank top. But I just
Mhm.
felt good doing it. So I just, when I'm bummed out or when I get stressed before, my kids say, "Hey, why don't you just go to the gym? Dad, get out of here." So
Yeah,
I really worked on my health, just kind of losing myself in that. We have some addiction history in our family, and if you're going to be addicted to something, working out's pretty good. So, um,
better than other choices. Yeah.
heck yeah! So I could see people visualizing that. God, you look incredible. Your life must be falling apart. You must be a mess. Yeah, good, nice, good abs there. You want to do some therapy? But that's been a healthy thing. And then I think for anybody that might be sad is if you can give to something else. It's hard to feel bad and have that pity party if you're creating value for other people. So, I work with Parkinson's disease patients, special needs adults, and making a difference in someone's life. That's a great therapeutic tool for anyone that's dealing with some kind of sadness or change. Just, hey, what can I give to? Homeless ministry I worked with, and
Hmm.
I just thought, hey, it's not all about. I mean, my life is all about me, but if I can create some value to someone else, you feel good about it, and I'd recommend that. Yeah, maybe that the working out. Not everyone's going to be into. I mean, I think it's a good thing, but I think
Yeah.
anybody can give to someone else. Create
Yeah.
some value for someone else.
Yeah. Well, and hope everyone should be able to exercise to some point
Oh, I
too.
know,
So
but as far as like being maniacal about it,
yeah,
that's a little bit
maniacal working out. But movement, I don't. Yeah, it gets the endorphins moving. So
movement's the medicine. That's
yeah, I feel
with
like that's good advice. You move and you give back, so you're
yeah.
not thinking about yourself. That seems really solid.
There was some Tony Robbins thing I remember years and years ago, and he said that your physiology helps determine how you feel. So if you looked up on the sky, you looked up at the ceiling, you had this big SH type grin. I
Yeah.
don't know if I can say the word on your podcast, but you're eating it, and if you
Yeah.
smile while you're doing it, it's impossible to feel bad. Like I challenge you to feel lousy or sad by looking up and smiling at the ceiling. So
Yeah.
it shows that controlling how you move your body like impacts how you feel about things. So imagine being able to switch that instantly by
Yeah.
how you move, how you smile, what your posture's like. That's a pretty good tip.
Yeah, posture's huge. You know what's interesting? I was so depressed one Sunday and there was not a real reason why. And I went and I put my hands in the dirt of my son's house to pull some weeds. And like that, I felt better. But there's supposed to be a thing about
That's
that too. Put
ridiculous.
your hands in dirt.
That's ridiculous.
Like like that.
Hands in dirt. Come
I'm
on
like,
now.
No, it's true. Listen, 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 listen.
That's
There is something to it. I don't know, but just connecting. I think I mean, sunshine, movement, connecting to the ground, connecting to other humans, skipping, all these things. It seems like it endorphin releases.
it's a feeling of accomplishment to get rid of weeds. I like that.
No, there's science in it. It's just science we've not heard very often. But I listen to all that geeky stuff, so I listen to geekier stuff and
Yeah.
look at videos of planting a garden because I don't do it. So
I'm
there's
gonna
that.
the hands in the dirt. Could have been a mic drop to end the show, but I'm not gonna let it. I'm not gonna let it end that way.
You're not gonna let it.
No,
You're not gonna let that end the show.
no.
That's just an aside. I have, it's the quirky side you
Yeah.
can call it. But one day you're gonna see something come across a news feed about how just having your hands in dirt is
I'll bring a
is
little
good
bit
for us.
on the set. If
So
I'm a
there's
little
something
stressed out between the A block and the B, I can just put my hands in the little
go
dirt
outside.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
something to
have some next to me.
Yeah. That was not an aside that was supposed to be in this podcast at all. This is just free. No, I'm not charging extra to anyone for that little tidbit. That's a joke. Okay, back to you. That took us so far off. Okay, we're going to go back to the things that help. So, Okay, so going back to David did a major transition, life transition from moving to California to Reno, Nevada, from doing a lot of things that were, not news to doing full time news on camera, uh, finalizing a divorce, and having a hip surgery. That's all happened in the last year. That's a lot of stuff, David. A
Yes,
lot of stuff.
Mary, it is.
It is a lot of stuff. So
I'm
that's
still
kind of,
still standing.
you're still standing. What was it like? What about the part of moving to a different city in a different state? Like what kept you sane in that part of it? Or what was hard in it? Either one.
Well, I never left California for anything, professionally. I visited other states, but I never worked or lived anywhere else. So that part was unsettling. The no state taxes is settling, but picking up your life, I drove up here by myself and was crying for 4 hours. So I didn't, make that move, with full of energy and saying, "Yeah, I'm doing this." It was unnerving, um, until I took the mic, that first day, and everyone else made me feel good about it. It's
Yeah.
it's change is scary, especially when you've had this comfort zone. I lived in my same house for 23 years, transformed it, remodeled it. It became my place that I made it perfect. And to spend the last few years making it perfect and having to leave it was as hard as anything. Um,
Yeah.
then the year before that, lost two dogs in the span of 6 weeks. So
Oh
that
gosh.
was traumatic. But you just faith is a part of it. I'm
Mhm.
uh, I never attended church until my late 20s, and I'm certainly flawed, but it's a part of the whole thing to know that if I go someplace and I'm alone, I know I'm not, and that's a big part of this whole thing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, and I appreciate about you that you're not positive because you're just ignore the emotions of the hard stuff. You're willing to kind of feel it. I feel, you feel it, and then you move through it. Is what I see you doing. I've kind of watched here and there in the last year and a half, and then also you had a grandson born.
Oh,
It's
that
been a big year and a half, hasn't it?
yeah. Well, the
Or
whole
2 years.
the whole being enough, being good enough, that kind of came full circle with my grandson, because my son called me in February of 24 saying that he was going to have a boy, and they had the name. He said, "Are you ready?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "David Archer.
Oh,
What do you think?" I told him I couldn't tell him what I thought, because as parents, we just, there's no manual for us. So you do the best you can. You make errors. Sometimes the punishment's too strict or not enough, or you didn't communicate this, or you're not a good role model in this area. And in that moment, I knew I'd been enough.
mm,
And so all these games you play with yourself over the years, hey, if I do this, I'm going to feel good. If I make more money, I'll do this. If I have uh, this kind of a car or this type of relationship, but it all does come from within. So
yeah.
when he told me that, it meant everything. And I played that on television with Rebecca. We played that part where he told me that, and I told the story. I'm crying there on the chair, because it's one of the best days of my life.
There's something because I moved to Reno. You know this because I have a grandchild. I've not said that on the podcast either. But there's something it's like becoming a parent for the first time.
Yeah.
Getting married, leaving the house, going to college, getting
Oh,
married, having your first child, and then having the grandchild is like I don't know. The earth gets shinier, don't you think?
oh gosh, my
It gets
day,
brighter. It
my
gets way
day
brighter.
could be horrible, and then we FaceTime every week, and when I just see the smile, I mean, there's nothing at the station that could ruin my day. There's no debt that I have to pay or anything else. Nothing matters. I go to bed with my heart full
Yeah.
after interacting. So his birthday is August 1st, so I'm going back to Tennessee in a couple weeks, and I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. You have to pry that guy out of my hands
Oh,
because it's the best.
yeah. There's something so beautiful about that. And settling, with a lot of life transition. But, I think in some ways it's like life hands a lot of transition. And it's even if everything goes kind of the way you want it to and you hope it will, you're still going to deal with a lot of transition. And it can catch us off guard and then send us spiraling, I think, and into a lot of negative, you know, um, negative, not just negative talk, but negative thought patterns that are hard to shake. And then if there's any traumatic, if it's traumatic in any ways, then it can get locked in even worse. So it's part of the reason I like to talk about these things because I would like people to know they're not alone. They're not the only one that's dealt with that. And I think you are an inspiring voice in terms of you feel it. You're not like not feeling it, but you're rolling with it and in a good direction.
Yeah, and I don't think you can put a timetable like, hey, I'm going to do this by like you just know when it's right. I mean, you can want to make these changes. I mean, I'm kind of referring to like the personal stuff, like dating and things like that. Like, I don't
Yeah,
have a personal goal. Hey, I want to have a great girlfriend by this time, because then you make choices that are bogus. Like you just do something just to do something, and
yeah,
it happens when it's meant to happen. You have to be ready for it. You have to prepare yourself, make yourself better, and have your personal boxes all checked off. But just trying to do something because and you might not be ready for it, or you make the wrong choice. I think that's a recipe for disaster.
yeah. That seems good,
Yeah,
like good advice.
no, I've had some experiences. We don't have enough time in the podcast, but things like that. It's just when it's right, it's right. And it's not,
Yeah,
it's not.
yeah. Well, I can understand that.
Yeah,
So let me ask you this: so you both with I know yours kind of overlap the divorce and moving to a new city, and sometimes those things do overlap and come together, like where there's just a lot of transition at once. But what did you do just to kind of find community in either way, post divorce or then moving? Like, how has that been? Like, what action steps you think kind
yeah.
of things were helpful?
Well, I mean, some of the stuff we already touched on to do something, for other people. So I have someone
Okay.
I I see on a regular basis here that I can help with exercise and chores and things like that. It's just good to feel like you're bringing some value to the world. And we all need a circle of people
Okay.
that you can trust that are not judgmental,
Right.
that you can lean on. So some of my best friends are my actor friends because I've been told this too, like the more you practice acting, you get these roles, you have more empathy for other people because we're not supposed to judge our characters. We're supposed to rationalize and accept what they are, not say that's a bad person or this is that. Everyone does stuff because they think it's right, and so the more you do that, you can deal with people differently and have empathy. So, like a lot of my best friends are actors. They whether they've experienced exactly what I have or not, they can imagine or tap into it and be empathetic and be that shoulder to cry on, which I've had, or just someone to chat with.
Yeah, that's very true because acting, you really have to go inward to find that place where it's authentic to you. Otherwise, you can see it on in your eyes that it's not authentic. So that's really good. See, that's a good little actor tip too for everybody who's wanting to do acting or just wants to do life better.
Do not
Go
judge
inside.
the character. Do not.
Do not judge the character or the characters in your life.
Yeah. And then
So do
everyone also, everyone's thoughts on the world, it's right to them. So I don't have a right to tell someone, hey, it's BS that you feel this way, or get over it. Everyone's experience is authentic to them. So
Mhm.
I learned that from a therapist, a friend of
Yeah,
mine. So if you can do that, when they talk to you, hey, it makes sense that you feel this way. It makes sense that this causes you to react in this way, because it does to them. And so,
yeah,
maybe you want to reframe it and be able to channel that in a different direction. But everyone's feelings are appropriate to them.
yeah. That's true. True that.
So I never
So
tell someone that they're stupid for feeling that way, because it's not. Does that mean like my way is the only way that the world should be viewed? And it's not. So if you can take yourself away from that, then you can be much more accepting, of other people.
yeah, we should just throw those into, political arguments on Facebook, see how it works.
I stay away from that. I've had too many family arguments with anything referring to politics on Facebook.
I know. That's why it's a joke, but I agree. It's really hard, I think, especially with the world where we keep hearing that what we agree with. That's how algorithms work, and so then we become more and more convinced of what we know. So I had that a talk with my last guest about that, and about schemas. We develop these mindsets, right, or schemas about what's good, what's bad, based on just our experience in life, and those can be based on things that are not accurate, biased, not fully developed. They're kind of knee jerk reaction stuff. So becoming aware of them, which I think is what you're talking about, just kind of becoming aware of what our own thoughts are and then having some empathy for other people in different situations. Hey, I mean, I've had to play a serial killer, so I don't know about you.
That's very believable.
That is very believable. It's totally my archetype. So, I mean, if you
You
know
didn't
me,
have
you
to dig deep for that one.
know. That one was right at the surface. So that one was super easy. But, I had actually had this is an incredible experience. I had someone, the lady at the returns at the Amazon counter at Whole Foods, she's like, I know you. I'm like, I don't think you do. She's like, I've seen you in something. I'm like, I kind of doubt it. But because I've done shows, but I've not done that many shows. But then she was treating me like I was an A-lister, but she watches the ID channel, and I have a lot of shows on the ID channel.
Okay.
I think that is the first time that I someone that I didn't know is like, she lost her mind. She didn't take a picture with me. I mean, yeah, that was an experience.
That had
But
to
that's
feel
what made me
good.
think of it.
That had to feel good.
Because Snapped was my, serial killer moment. Good times.
Hmm.
Do you think acting has affected your television and radio, or has radio and television affected your acting? Do you think those are? Do they think how do they pair together?
I think all those experiences, that's where my news director kind of saw this coming from, was that the radio helped with the spontaneity, the sports help with spontaneity, to be in the moment, being on
Mhm.
camera help with being on camera. Um,
Yeah,
the acting helped me be more comfortable. Um, I don't think we're acting on TV doing the news, because we're just doing the news, and we're just delivering it. Stuff that's sad or disturbing.
hmm,
Sometimes it's hard to mask that, so I can't be just like a straight faced robot, all the time. But I think it just helps being more authentic. I'm too old to give many blanks anymore, so I just want to go and do it. So I don't get too rattled by mistakes or things that
yeah.
happen on the show.
Live TV is going to catch it all. So I know.
Yeah, like I said, someone that's newer in it, they're going to be more nervous or uptight, and I just, you know, stuff happens, and you just roll with it. So I think, I've been in broadcasting for 40 years, so
Man, you must be old. That's jokes. It's jokes. It's jokes.
like I said, Madonna, like a Virgin was a new album,
Oh gosh.
and so I think it does help with the learning curve of this. I don't need to do it for 10 years before I get good at it, because I've done broadcasting for 40 years. There's things that apply, some skill sets that make that curve a little steeper. Um, And if they thought it would take me 10 years to get good at it, they wouldn't have hired me. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so I do think some of the things translate in life. So, like I said, the play by play, the DJing, all of it comes together, for where we're at today.
Yeah. Definitely a very inspirational talk in there for sure. Transitioning in a career and in life, 38 years into your career is not for the faint of heart. But
No,
you
no.
you are definitely just hit it out of the ballpark, in my opinion.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, bless
The
my heart.
No, no, I appreciate the nice words. And you mentioned 38 years, and I'll use the word crush loosely because she might watch this. But
Okay.
Debbie Gibson is my favorite interview I've ever done, and I interviewed artists as a DJ. So, going back to talking to Janet Jackson and Paula Abdul and the artists of that era, Michael Bolton. I was in a bar with Tupac Shakur and interviewed Biggie Smalls. That was all awesome. And but and I
That's
played
very
and
cool.
I played Debbie Gibson as a DJ. So when she came to town a month or so ago, we did a Zoom call, and I'm just going to do 4 or 5 minutes of TV, but we're talking for 20 minutes. So I'm going to take the best part out of that and put it on there. And I
Yeah.
mentioned that at the beginning of the conversation, I go, "This is extra cool for me because I want to do good TV and I want to promote your show, but I played your stuff when you were a kid. This is awesome." And so, and I knew everything about her life. I knew that she had overcome Lyme disease. I knew her mother passing. I knew she had some financial challenges. But anyway, over this conversation, we became friends because
Oh,
it wasn't an interview. We were just talking, and there was commonalities. We had some old school radio, and I knew about her life, and she was asking me about my thing. And it's never too late for her because she's 54 years old, coming back to sing, and there's just these life parallels. So
yeah.
when the interview ended, I said, "Hey, I'm going to go to your show, and hopefully I can see you in person because we're zooming like this." She goes,
Yeah.
"Well, you are." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I'm going to give you the number of my manager. You tell him I told you to call." I go, "Okay." So I sent him a text and say, "Hey, Debbie said I could go backstage," and he says, "Yeah, she told me." So on the night of the show, he couldn't make it, but he put me in touch with somebody else. And then he says, "Hey, I'm going to call you in a little bit." So I'm sitting in the show, and the opening act's on, and I get a call from this number I don't recognize, a little town in Missouri. And I said, "But this might be something. It's not. It doesn't look like spam to me." So I pick
Yeah.
it up, and hello, this is Dave. Yeah, yeah. This is Derek, Debbie's assistant. Where are you sitting? Well, I'm in the fourth row. I got black shorts, red T-shirt. Okay, I'm coming to get you. And this isn't the meet and greet. The meet and greet's after the show with all the other VIP lanyard people. Oh my God,
Yeah.
he's coming to get me. Oh, so he whisks me back there, and she comes, knock on the trailer. She comes out to see me. We had such a great talk. We hug. She brings her dog out. I knew she was a dog mom. I go, "Hey, I like you even more because I know you're a dog mom." So and then she went on to put this tour de force performance on afterwards. So I just see all these life parallels. And she was a nice person, and was willing to share her life. It
Yeah.
wasn't, I ask, you answer. I ask, and I've got this list of questions because those interviews suck. But if you can have a
Yeah.
conversation with somebody, so it was totally real. Like I said, we come from the same generation. We've had some similar experiences, and so I use the word crush, but I just think she's a good person. And
Yeah.
like I said, I saw root for people like that I like. Super talented, but I can tell there's a great soul there, and you gravitate to
Yeah.
people like that.
Yeah. And don't you like the ones, the famous people to be pseudo famous, totally famous? You want them all to be good people.
Oh yeah, and
It's so much more fun when they're good people.
oh, she's the best. Hey, and I want maybe your audience, maybe she sees your podcast. Debbie,
Absolutely.
I'm inviting you to my speech August 12th, National Auto Museum in Reno. I'll get you backstage to my show.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to be there, so maybe she's going to be there too. We're some bunch of people from town are going to be there.
Oh,
You bet. We'll get
it's
the
gonna.
whole station out.
I'm excited about it because
I am too.
it, when I met with the director of the Auto Museum a few months ago, we were just talking life, and I knew some of the people that had spoken before, and he says, "You got a great story." And I said, "Well,
Yeah.
someday I'll tell it here." And then over the last few months, we were talking more about it, and then, okay, let's lock in the date. So now I'm committed. I can't back out. It's on the website. People are buying tickets, um, and the way they sold it, I go, I got to be good. I better be good. So there's a lot of work to do, but it's going to be a journey on
Yeah.
not just career, but on life and that voice that takes away our power. Um, you're not smart enough. You're not good enough. You're too tall, too short, too fat. All those things. Um, a voice that every now and then I still hear, but just knowing what it is and what it
Sure.
isn't. And and then some people need to feel good about where they are. They don't need to worry about, like, we're talking about these changes and pivots and all that, which is awesome. People need to do that. But some
Mhm.
people need to feel good about who they are. Like they're already a great mom. They're already a great husband and
Right.
a great parent. They're already good in their careers, and they don't need to feel like they're comparing themselves to the person next door. If I only had a car like that, if I only could drop 10 more pounds, hey, I want people to love themselves. So I want to hit
Yeah.
that sweet spot for everybody, whether they need to feel good about where they are and if we want to make some changes. And that way, everybody wins that day.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Being in the moment, well, being in the moment is part of healing too, in my opinion. I think, like I loved going on walks when I was going through the worst of it in the woods because you're lost in the moment,
Yeah.
and be happy in the moment.
I'll think about when you what you just said there, being happy in the moment, putting on makeup at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it. I'm in the moment, man. And Mary would be
You're
proud right
so,
now.
now you're full of it.
I
That
am
that SH
because
word.
I've never thought that. I've never thought that at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I remember when you first told me that you're getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, it was peculiar to me in some ways because I'm like, well, he must have been doing this forever. Like, why
Oh,
are they talking about this? But like, that's no, this is that maybe that's the hardest part of this transition is
oh,
getting up at 2 in the morning. That does sound horrible.
oh no! I don't care who hears this. No, that part sucks because it impacts your social life, because you go to bed at 8 o'clock to pull that off. So I can't stay up
Yeah,
at all. And even on the weekend, I'm tired because my body's conditioned. And before I took
yeah,
the job, I wanted to see if I could do it. Like, yeah, I can come to Reno and be on TV and we'll be number one. But like, can you get up at 2 o'clock? So I did get up at 2, in the Bay Area to see if I could. All right. And then so after I did it for a week, I go, okay, I can do this. Long term, that would be like the one thing, like, hey, we're successful, we do a good show, but can I physically do this for years and years and years? And that would be the one thing that I weigh long term. Not today, because right now I'm living in the moment, putting on the makeup at 2, but later on, it'd be the physical toll, and can I get myself to feel physically good at 2 in the morning, without that cup of coffee and the nap, the mandatory 90-minute nap every day.
yeah. That's huge. I don't even know. Like that. That sounds really, really rough. I'm not gonna lie.
But I'd rather
Yeah,
do that than I would not want to be on the 11 o'clock news. That because then you're up to working till mid, so you never go out at night ever. So you never have dinner with anybody
sure.
ever, except on the weekend, and um, and then you're always up till 1 o'clock in the morning from work. So it's not like you're out having fun at 1 o'clock. You've been on a computer and you've been doing TV then. So I'd rather do the morning. If I can get my body right, I could stay up a little bit. I can live a little bit. I go to Taco Tuesdays, go out and do that. Um,
Yeah.
I'm going to go to an Aces game next week, stay for a couple innings because I get to throw out the first pitch on Tuesday. So I'll stay up till
What?
9 o'clock on Tuesday, the 22nd.
Okay. Well.
So, but
Okay.
anyway, I'd rather do this the early morning than working late at night because that would be
Yeah.
brutal.
Last question. Are you doing any acting still here in Reno?
Not in Reno. My I don't know if I can because like the station controls like what I can do. It's never come up in a conversation, so I can't do like a local commercial.
Mhm.
And I think there's probably a credibility component too. If I'm some smart
Right.
aleck waiter, throwing water at somebody and then I'm on the news. I think there's kind of this weird visual of that. I can do sports in the market on the radio, but I can't do TV. because there's definitely a conflict there. So my acting's in the Bay Area. I've got an agent in the city, so I auditioned for stuff there. Auditioned for a commercial. I had one I auditioned for. I thought I had a shot to get at the All Star break for the NBA. Didn't get it, but it's a numbers thing. And as an actor, we're supposed to be conditioned to say having a good audition is the job. If you can feel good about that, booking the gig is just gravy, but it's doing good work in your audition. So
Yeah.
I want to carve out time to do more classes, and that'll be the next thing I do because there's a couple of great coaches I have in LA that are top notch. So you got to keep working the craft. The reps I get on TV, I think are helpful in a different way. It does make me a better actor because I'm working on camera every single day. So I think there is some crossover, um,
Yeah.
but all my acting is in the Bay Area.
I think comfort in front of the camera is pretty huge because that's a thing I think that throws a lot of actors right away is just, or people in general. If I have a business owner come in and do a commercial or an interview and I put them in front of the camera, the camera itself is intimidating
Yeah,
and you lose some personality. So
and
things
and
like that would be helpful.
and then the one thing I know you got to wrap it up in a second. You have a time limit, like you have to throw me off by a certain time.
No, I was just going to throw you off just because. I'm kidding. Just jokes.
No, one thing
We're at about an hour. I try to keep it at about an hour, but
well, this
it
is so
goes on.
compelling. We're going over. Um,
Yeah, it is.
No, one thing besides the being comfortable on camera is like being able to listen. And that's why I want to do it, not just on TV, but in life, because I know people can relate to this, is, you're hearing me, but are you listening? So I'm waiting for
Mm,
Mary to be done talking so I can say what I'm going to say. So, but if you're a great communicator, which is what I aspire, that's what Lindsay Matherly is the best. She hears and she's responding authentically. She's not waiting for me to be done talking so she can say her thing. She hears me and she responds to that. And she's asking, like, did I do anything exciting over the weekend? And then I'll tell her, and then I'll say, what about you? It's not just, how are you? Fine. Like, we're talking. And if I can get that in my personal life, like master that, then you really have something. And if I get up, mastered it on TV, which is harder to do because it's set up to have you talk, I talk, you talk, I talk. It's your turn to talk. And if you can
mhm.
get yourself to where we're hearing and listening, oh, that's where the magic happens. And when Rebecca and I are really good, that's what we're doing. Like we're hearing each
Yeah,
other and listening. And so that's what I aspire to every day, not just on the show, but in life.
yeah. Listening is the key, isn't it? I think and if you want to be better in business, listen, better in relationships, listen, better in acting, listen, better in friendships, listen. That is a
What,
key to a whole lot of stuff.
what'd you say?
Like, what? I don't know what you said.
I was waiting for you to finish talking so I could talk.
I don't know what you just said even.
Oh no, no, but you're right, and that's a lesson from actors too. Is like not
Right.
waiting for you to finish your line so I can say my line. I'm hearing you and responding authentically.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a good thing. And the improv piece of it too. I'm sure that all the play by play and that must translate a little bit to improving, don't you think, in scenes?
I'd hope so. No, I believe it to be true.
Yeah. One day we're gonna do a scene, David.
Oh yes, yes. And now
Maybe a couple.
the way that the business is set up, agents embrace that stuff, doing your own things instead of sitting around waiting to get this audition. Hey, you can make your own stuff, man. The iPhones are so good, that look so good. You can lavalier mic or just have the
Yeah.
camera phone pick it up and create
Yeah.
your own stuff and then show it off to people.
Yeah. For sure. It's a little bit what I'm doing right now, only this is a podcast and not comedy. But I did some comedy stuff way back in the day when I first kind of started with a friend who is an actor. So whenever we'd help each other with auditions, we'd do something super fun. And when I moved from Nashville to Atlanta, then that stopped. But he is doing so well. Like his career is taken off like crazy. But I have to say, he messaged me and shot me his new reel the other day, and I'm like, man, I miss those
Yeah,
silly
you
little
can make your own.
videos we
You can
made all
make
the
your
time.
own.
Yeah, yeah. He had a scene with Robert De Niro, so he's. I mean, his reel is very, yeah. Win Reichert. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Go check it out.
Okay.
But yeah. Well, David, thank you for your time. I'm so excited to hear your speech. David Lewis giving keynote speeches. Speeches.
It's
Easy
a
for you to say.
it's a great opportunity. I'm really excited about it. So for the folks in Reno, hope to put on a good show for you.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, more to come tomorrow at 5 a.m. news
And
and
getting up
6.
at 2 and putting on makeup.
So besides catching you on KOLO-TV, because you can go to the website and catch them on the news if you're not in Reno. You can go to the app, the KOLO News app, and catch them. Um, and also, what any other socials you have at Dave Lewis on TV down there?
Yeah, I mean, I put some of the stuff like some highlight, show highlights. But right now, I'm putting more of our stuff on the Good Morning Reno page. Uh,
I
being
saw that.
being selfless, I'm more concerned about building our show. So we have a Facebook page, Good Morning Reno, um, Instagram, Good Morning Reno, and
Hmm.
then Dave Lewis on the air. I think it's on the air and on TV. I think it's Dave Lewis on TV for one of them, and then I also have that on Facebook as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Dave. I appreciate your time.
Mary, I enjoyed the visit. You crushed this.
Oh, crushed it. Thanks. All right. You have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.
I'll see you at the office, baby.
Yep. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye.